Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Nashte Praya Svabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatu Tamashoke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. And then we'll read that translation. Let me pull that. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayan, unto Nara Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, and unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Okay. So they told me that where we left off was Canto 2, Chapter 5, Text 16. Does that sound right?
Oh, I thought it was 13.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I mean, I just like I'm very
You're on top
I
of it.
I usually leave like all my tabs open and my students always tell me, "Oh my God, why do you have so many tabs open?" But I
Okay.
just leave everything where I last left it.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it
Yeah,
was like
that's fine. That's
13.
fine. So you think that we're on text 13?
Yeah, that's what I
That's
thought.
what I thought too.
Yeah.
And Lavanga Mataji had told me 16, but I had thought it was 13.
Mhm.
So we'll start on 13. That's fine.
Yeah, okay, because
So,
like last time it was questions and answers, so we didn't read.
Yeah, because I really didn't remember doing 13. Um, so that's fine. We'll do 13 right now. So it's Narad Muni, just to recap where we're at, Narad Muni is asking Lord Brahma um why he performs austerities and who is above him. And Lord Brahma, we're at the point where Lord Brahma is answering. So are you just going? Okay, text 13. Vilajamanaya yasya statumikshapate muya vimohita vimohita vikatante mamaham iti durdiyaha. Okay. The illusory energy of the Lord cannot take precedence, being ashamed of her position, but those who are bewildered by her talk nonsense, being absorbed in thoughts of it is I and it is mine. Purport. The invincibly powerful deluding energy of the personality of God, or the third energy representing nescience, can bewilder the entire world of animation, but still she is not strong enough to be able to stand in front of the Supreme Lord. Nescience is behind the personality of Godhead, where she is powerful enough to mislead the living beings, and the primary symptom of bewildered persons is that they talk nonsense. Nonsensical talks are not supported by the principles of Vedic literatures. And first grade nonsense talk is it is I, it is mine. A godless civilization is exclusively conducted by false ideas and such persons, without any factual realization of God, except a false God or falsely declare themselves to be God or mislead persons who are already bewildered by the deluding energy. Those who are before the Lord, however, and who surrender unto him, cannot be influenced by the deluding energy. Therefore, they are free from the misconception of it is I, it is mine, and therefore they do not accept a false God or pose themselves as equal to the Supreme Lord. Identification of the bewildered person is distinctly given in this verse? Okay. Om Jnana Timrandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Umilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Um, we may have read this one last week because I remember, like we said, we referenced like another verse, like the talking of nonsense is like frogs croaking. Do you know that verse? You heard that verse? So we might have read that. And yeah, like in Krishna consciousness, it's not really recommended to be uh from like what I read, I don't remember where I read it. Like just like talking so much about, things that don't matter and um anyway. It says bewildered by the diluting energy. I wonder if that's just like, is that material energy? What is that?
Bewildering energy?
It says the invincibly powerful diluting energy of the personality of Godhead. What is the invincibly powerful diluting energy? Is that material energy?
It
The
should be,
material nature? I
I
guess
think it
so.
should be Maya.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, yeah.
Dr. Rich wanted to say something.
Oh no, you just said it, Bhakti and Amy. Yes, you said Maya. That's what I was gonna say too.
I was gonna say that, like, I remember because in I think it was a previous verse we talked about the word nescience, and I wanted to like go deeper a little bit into that word because in Spanish we have necio, and necio in Spanish is like when you are stubborn, but in a bad way. Like you're not willing to listen, you're not willing to learn, you're not willing to understand. It's like you're deluded by Maya because it's like you can't see, you can't hear. That you know those like the three little monkeys that have like their eyes, their ears, and their mouth closed. It's like, but that would be see no evil, hear no evil. But in this case, it would be like the contrary. They couldn't hear, see, or listen or speak anything that would make sense because they're being deluded by nescience, which is the that like nescience can bewilder the entire world of animation, but she's not strong enough to be able to stand in front of the Supreme Lord. So either you're submitted, surrendered to the Lord through his pure devotee, or you're like in Maya, basically. And if you're in Maya, it's like no matter how much sense somebody wants to talk to you, you're not going to understand because you're under the influence of nescience, which is kind of like stubborn ignorance, is kind of like the best description of what necio means. And I think it comes from the same root. Nescience, necio. I don't know if it's Latin. Let me check.
Mm.
Mhm. Latin nescientia, yes. So it comes from Latin. So that's why it's kind of like the same as Spanish.
Mm. Thank
That's
you.
all I wanted to say about that.
I guess I kind of like want to add that like Maya works for Krishna, right? And sometimes it's like kind of hard for me to accept like Maya, like people who are in Maya, like that's what Krishna wants. I don't know, or like I don't know. I don't want to go into it. Never mind.
Okay, no, I understand what you said.
Yeah.
I kind of I don't know how to explain this, but I'll give it a shot. Like what I understand is that so since it's nescience, right? And it comes from nescientia,
Hmm.
and like I said, you're being stubborn in ignorance. It's like you don't want to hear, listen, speak, or understand anything that is really sensical, that is what is good for you. So you don't want to understand like common sense. You don't want to, so you're just being stubbornly stupid when you're in Maya because you're not like, and I'm sorry that I used that word, stupid, but it's like you're supposed to be surrendered to the Lord. And that's when you're in the mode of goodness. Otherwise, you're like in ignorance, which would be rajas and tamas. And so if you're not surrendered to the Lord, you're being stubborn and you're being um ignorant in the sense that that is your position. Your position is to be the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. And if you don't want to be that, then the only way that you're going to learn that is the hard way. So either you do it the good way or you do it like the hard way. So like the because Maya's energy is a little bit harsh. It's kind of like a harsh teacher. So if you want to be stubborn in ignorance, then I guess you'll learn the hard way, kind of. So it's God is like merciful. So Krishna is like a notion of mercy without cause. But then if you don't receive the mercy, if you're non-receptive because you're in the false ego, then the other choice is is Maya. There's no other choice. Basically, that's I hope I did good. I hope
Yeah,
I
that
did
was
good
so nice.
explaining that.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, it was really nice. Thank you. Before maybe we move on from this verse, did anyone else want to say anything on 2:5:13? Okay. Okay. Well, I can move on to the next verse. Dravyam karma chakalascha swabhavo jiva evacha vasudevat paro brahman natshanyo ritosti tatvataha. The 5 elementary ingredients of creation, the interaction thereof, set up by eternal time, and the intuition or nature of the individual living beings are all differentiated parts and parcels of the supreme of the personality of Godhead Vasudeva. And in truth, there is no other value in them. This phenomenal world is impersonally the representation of Vasudeva because the ingredients of its creation, their interaction, and the enjoyer of the resultant action, the living being, are all produced by the external and internal energies of Lord Krishna. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 7.4 through 5. The ingredients, namely earth, water, fire, air, and sky, as well as the conception of material identity, intelligence, and the mind, are produced of the external energy of the Lord. The living entity who enjoys the interaction of the above gross and subtle elements set up by eternal time is an offshoot of internal potency, with freedom to remain either in the material world or in the spiritual world. In the material world, the living entity is enticed by deluding nescience, but in the spiritual world, he is in the normal condition of spiritual existence without any delusion. The living entity is known as the marginal potency of the Lord, but in all circumstances, neither the material ingredients nor the spiritual parts and parcels are independent of the personality of Godhead Vasudeva. For all things, whether products of the external, internal, or marginal potencies of the Lord, are simply displays of the same effulgence of the Lord. Just as light, heat, and smoke are displays of fire. None of them are separate from the fire, all of them combine together to be called fire. Similarly, all phenomenal manifestations, as well as the effulgence of the body of Vasudeva, his impersonal features, whereas he eternally exists in his transcendental form called Satchit Ananda Vigraha, distinct from all conceptions of the material ingredients mentioned above. Okay. And to read the verse again. The five elementary ingredients of creation, the interaction thereof, set up by eternal time, and the intuition or nature of the individual living beings are all differentiated parts and parcels of the personality of Godhead Vasudev, and in truth there is no other value in them. Sorry, I'm reading really slow. I just feel like it's a little dense for me. So what I am getting right now is that there's no other, just like from the translation, there's no other value in the living being other than being eh, what is I forget, what does part and parcel mean? Like an inseparable part? Like
Yeah, like for example, your arm is a part and parcel of your body. So like if we're technically parts of Vasudeva,
okay.
and independently from him, we're worthless, basically, is what I
Yeah.
understand by that.
Yeah. I think a lot about I don't want to come off as flippant, but I had a pet die one time. It's like the only time I've ever seen a dead body, and it was my little guinea pig. And I found him, and I had just got him too. I just got him from someone. I didn't know he was old, and I found him, and he was dead. And I was just like, I like jumped back. I was like, it was so strange. I'd never seen like a dead pet or a person, but like other than like a fish, so it was like a mammal, you know, and it was like really like uh freaky, it was really freaky. And so like I think about that like in relation to like what we read that like the material body is only so much like attractive because it has like the soul in it, and then once the like soul is gone, it's like you don't want anything to do with that.
It's like
It's
a
crazy.
vase. It's like a vase, and immediately,
Yeah.
like at least with people, when people die, I'm very shocked that usually um people refer to the dead guy or the dead body, or like they immediately take out the personality of it's not the person anymore. It's just the dead. Like in Spanish it would be like el muerto or something, but they don't call him like the person. They don't call the person by their name anymore. Immediately after they die, it's like something automatic happens, like a shift or something. And I mean, in my case, it doesn't happen that way because like I've never had encounters like that until my parents died. And I
Mm,
was so shocked that everybody just like immediately moves through it like nothing happened. It was really shocking for me in that case. So I understand what you say. And then yes, the bodies kind of look like something that just contains, like a container. It
mhm,
contains something, and then after the soul goes away, it's like it loses form, shape. It doesn't even look anymore like them.
mhm.
It's really weird. Yeah, I
So
understand what you're saying.
yeah, so I read like we are attracted to this material world because in part because the material world comes from Krishna, so it naturally has like attractive features, and anyway, so um
So like the subtle ingredients by themselves are useless unless they're like created into this form of a human being or a living entity. And then even if that living entity is independent from the Lord, then it doesn't have any value at all. It's kind of like what I got.
yeah. There's another thing here I noticed instead of saying false ego, what does it say? Instead of saying false ego, he listed it as identification with the material body. Did you see that?
Mm, let me see.
Is a oh, okay, here it is. After it says this is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 7.4 through 5. And then it starts listing the subtle elements, material identity, intelligence, and mind. But sometimes he often lists it as false ego, intelligence, and mind.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah.
material identity.
So like false ego is like comes from material identity. Like when you develop, like when you are attached to your material identity, then this is like what I read, I think. When you're attached to your material identity, then like you see yourself as the doer. And when you see yourself as the doer, then you develop false ego. So I don't know. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I noticed just because you mentioned it, because otherwise I didn't really notice it.
Mhm.
But usually those are the three parts of the, is it the manas or the chitta? I don't really remember. But a conception of material identity would be like ahankara, intelligence would be buddhi, I think. And then manas would be the mind. So I don't know if all of them would be chitta or chitta is just a part of it. I don't remember right now. But yeah, material identity would be like the ahankara. So it's an interesting choice of instead of saying false ego or ahankara, it's just a different way of saying it.
Mhm.
I think somebody wrote in the chat. Let me see. Ah, yeah, Maya. Gurudev,
Oh, okay.
Guru Maharaj. Sorry.
Mhm. Okay. So, does anyone else want to add anything to this verse? Okay.
Back to Rich has something.
Yep.
Hare Krishna, thank you. I just wanted to say that it was very confusing to me, and if I read it maybe four more times, I might understand it better. But I was kind of having a hard time concentrating to begin with. But whenever they start talking about the ingredients and
Mhm.
stuff like that, and the doer, it gets really confusing for me. And I just wanted to mention that because it was a tough verse for me to read and understand.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, yeah, I agree. It's a chapter in the Bhagavad Gita that it's very detailed, right? And there are 5 material elements: earth, water, fire, air, and sky. And if I get this right, everything that we see around us is made up of these things. Like the buildings, like I don't know concrete, I don't know much, but like are made of earth and water. Like everything that you see is somehow a combination of earth, water, fire, air, and sky. So I guess they're just also just breaking down, Prabhupada just breaking down for us, just, I don't know, the facts, telling us, what life is made out of. And so,
I can add a little bit to that if you
yeah,
want.
please, yeah.
Because well, when there was creation, right? So there was an order of how these elements came to be here and created the earth. I don't remember really. I think fire was the first. It's
But
like from subtle, it's from subtle to to physical.
Hmm.
So Earth would have been the last, I think.
I think air is first, or ether is
Ether,
first.
yeah, kind of,
Because
but
first
like
you like need a space, and
mhm,
then yeah, I
exactly.
remember
And
that.
then the air, the fire, but there was like a switch between air and ether. So
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
really sure about it right now. Like I would have to go search for it, but that's like the
Mhm.
way it was created. It was like a descending, and then in Ayurveda, which is the science of life, there are three um types of body or dosha. For example, for human beings, I'm pretty sure like maybe living entities as well, because there must be some for animals, but for human beings, there could be like, for example, Pitta would be fire and water. So then Kapha would be earth and water, and then Vata would be air and ether, and I think water, some water there, maybe. Not that much because it's very dry. And so the three doshas, when you're born, you might have like a dominant one. So for example, in my case, I'm dominant Pitta, and I have also a little bit of Vata, but I have Kapha also, because as you live, right, and as you start growing, you can have an imbalance of one of the elements, and that becomes like an illness or a condition or something, and then you have to like get it back into balance with Ayurveda, which would be with nature, with food, is basically spices and stuff like that, is and herbs, is what Ayurveda is kind of about, to get the body into balance, to prevent illnesses, and to live as wisely as possible. So basically, there are also three doshic people that have like the same amount of each of the doshas in in their composition, in their bodily composition. And that doesn't necessarily mean something good, because usually the starter of all the illnesses is the vata element, which is air and ether, because
Mhm.
air is what moves all the other elements. And then it creates like an imbalance or something. So basically, that would be like the best way that I can help you guys like understand more, because since he's talking about the living entities and he's explaining the ingredients, that would be how our bodies are made of all these ingredients together. I hope that was um I hope that you understood a little bit more, if I could help.
Yeah, that
Thank
was
you.
really nice. Thank you. I guess also I wanted to talk a little bit more because it's been a while since I've talked about it or heard about it, about what constitutes the external, internal, or marginal potencies of the Lord. I know like we're the I guess I haven't really talked about it in such a long time. So, what is the external potency and like what is the internal potency? Like, what is it? Like, the spiritual world is the internal potency, like, whatever is unchanging is the internal potency. And then, like, the material world, what we see around us, the things that are changing, that's the external potency. Am I getting that right?
Well, what I thought, like, I mean, and I might be completely wrong, but what I understood was that the internal potency of the Lord is like is Radha, is what I understood. And then the external would be Maya. And then there's like a marginal, and that would be like us, the living entities. It's like we're in between, I think in between or something. That's my understanding. I may be completely wrong, but
I think
we could ask in the chat to just to confirm with Guru
I'm
Maharaj.
gonna like pull it up. And then I like we're marginal potency because we're the like unchanging spirit soul, but we have like an identification with the material body, and like our identification with the material body, I think is what makes us the marginal potency. I don't know. One moment. I'm gonna turn my hotspot on 1 second.
Wow, you made me think about that marginal potency. Because like the external, I'm pretty sure external is Maya, and then internal is Radha. So the marginal is the living entities.
I think that internal energy is anything that's unchanging. Like, I think the whole spiritual world is like internal potency.
Internal. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm gonna ask
Yeah, that's a great
Chat
question.
GPT for
Uh,
but because there's a Prabhupada Chat GPT, and then my Chat GPT, he knows like what I'm always looking at. So he
there's a
gives
Prabhupada ChatGPT.
yeah, there's a
Please do
Prabhupada
share
Chat.
that in
There's
the
several
chat.
Prabhupada Chat GPTs.
I would definitely want to see a Prabhupada ChatGPT.
Yeah. But sometimes he's wrong. Sometimes he says stuff that's not right. So you have to be
Yeah, I
careful.
know. They all say stuff that's wrong. But
Yeah,
but
like
but I'm very interested in this Prabhupada
he'll
ChatGPT.
start saying like really wrong stuff sometimes. So just give him one moment. All right. Okay, external energy is the material world. That's the earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. It's temporary, dead matter. This is from chat. That chat said dead matter. It's temporary and works under the illusion of Maya. Okay. The external energy creates the world that we experience through the mind and body. The internal energy is Krishna's spiritual energy. It's full of knowledge, never covered by illusion, eternal. Everything in the spiritual world operates under the internal energy. And then we're marginal because we're situated between the internal and external energies. I heard of this before, you know, when you're at the beach and there's the sand and there's the water, we're like where the waves meet the land. So we're like we're like marginal, we're both situated on the margin. So
In between worlds.
in between, I guess. Yeah. So okay. That's all I have to say right now about that.
Well, was like I was looking for that Prabhupada ChatGPT and I saw that there's more than one.
Yeah, there's
But
several.
like
Yeah.
Bhakta GPT Poe, which is Prabhupada Says, it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And then another one that's called Shapes. It says ISKCON GPT, Krishna Consciousness and Vedic Wisdom.
We can send each other in the chat after in the WhatsApp chat afterwards would be interesting.
Yeah, yeah,
I'll send you
definitely.
the one I use.
Yeah.
But okay, we can move on if we want to move on to the next verse.
Yes, please.
Okay, going on to 15. Narayana Paraveda Deva Narayanan Gaja Narayana Paraloka Narayana Paramakaha. The Vedic literatures are made by and are meant for the Supreme Lord. The demigods are also meant for serving the Lord as parts of his body. The different planets are also meant for the sake of the Lord, and different sacrifices are performed just to please him. According to the Vedanta Sutras, Shastra Yonitvat, the Supreme Lord is the author of all revealed scriptures, and all revealed scriptures are for knowing the Supreme Lord. Veda means knowledge that leads to the Lord. The Vedas are made just to revive the forgotten consciousness of the conditioned souls, and any literature not meant for reviving God consciousness is rejected at once by the Narayan Para devotees. Such deluding books of knowledge, not having Nadayan as their aim, are not at all knowledge, but are the playgrounds for crows who are interested in the rejected refuse of the world. Any book of knowledge, science, or art must lead to the knowledge of Nadayan, otherwise it must be rejected. That is the way of advancement of knowledge. The supreme worshipable deity is Narayan. Demigods are recommended secondarily for worship in relation to Narayan, because the demigods are assisting hands in the management of universal affairs. As the officers of a kingdom are respected due to their relation with the king, the demigods are worshipped due to their relation to the Lord. Without the Lord's relation, worship of the demigods is unauthorized, avidi purvakam. Just as it is improper to water the leaves and branches of a tree without watering its root. Therefore, the demigods are also dependent on Narayan. The lokas, or different planets, are attractive because they have different varieties of life and bliss, partially representing the Satchit Ananda Vigraha. Everyone wants the eternal life of bliss and knowledge. In the material world, such an eternal life of bliss and knowledge is progressively realized in the upper planets. But after reaching there, one is inclined to achieve further progress along the path back to Godhead. Duration of life with a proportionate quantity of bliss and knowledge may be increased from one planet to another. One can increase the duration of life to thousands and hundreds of thousands of years in different planets, but nowhere is there eternal life. But one who can reach the highest planet, that of Brahma, can aspire to reach the planets in the spiritual sky where life is eternal. Therefore, the progressive journey from one planet to another culminates in reaching the supreme planet of the Lord, Madhama, where life is eternal and full of bliss and knowledge. All different kinds of sacrifice are performed just to satisfy Lord Narayan, with a view to reach him, and the best sacrifice recommended in this age of Kali is Sankirtan Yajna, the mainstay of the devotional service of a Narayan Para devotee. Okay, so in the last verse, Brahma was saying that everything is only valuable as it is in relation to the Lord, and now it's saying that everything is meant for serving the Lord. Just to reread it. The Vedic literatures are made by and meant for the Supreme Lord. The demigods are also meant for serving the Lord as parts of his body. The different planets are also meant for the sake of the Lord, and different sacrifices are performed just to please him. So, yeah, so every sacrifice is supposed to like bring you closer to Krishna. So I think it's like not recommended to do like a extended fasting. And maybe if it's like for a health reason, like that'd be different. But just to like fast, just to fast, if it is like coming into you know, you don't want it to like cut into what you do daily, you know, like your chanting or service or like other things, like not to do austerities that don't like bring you closer to Krishna is like what's recommended. I've heard.
Like everything we do should be basically to bring us closer to Krishna.
Yeah. And then like going back a couple verses back, like our words should be used to like bring us closer to Krishna. Our austerities should be used to bring us closer to Krishna. And everything that is not in relation to Krishna, it has no value. It's a waste of time. And then I guess from what I've read, like some people, I don't know, because I'm not like very familiar with the culture of like different Indian or beliefs and religions like from India. But some people they just want to be promoted to like higher planetary systems, like the higher planets, where they can like enjoy more. Um, I guess that's like what some people want. Um, but I heard this really funny pastime today. I really wanted to share it. And it was like, you know how the demigods, their position is temporary, so they get a little nervous when people are performing austerities. They go, "Oh, someone's gonna come take my position." And so Indra, he is some, I don't remember who, I'm so sorry. The sages were performing like a horse sacrifice, and the horse was gonna go into the fire, and a person was supposed to come out of it. So Indra, he came to the sacrifice, and he was dressed, you know, into lock, and he came like as a young boy in the like orange clothing. And he came and he stole the horse and he rode it into the sky. And he came to destroy the sacrifice because he was afraid of his like position being taken, you know. And I don't know, it just like reminds me like everything that we like strive for in the material world, it's like once you have it, you have to worry about losing it. You know, you have to worry about maintaining it or worry about losing it. And so everything you have, it's like, you know, of course we need some things, but I don't know, kind of burdensome, you know. So to be, you know, to be someone so great like Indra and to be worried about like losing your position, uh wow, I don't know. I just really liked that. Um and then also I just wanted to talk about right here it says that uh, such deluding books of knowledge, not having Nadayan as their aim, are not at all knowledge, but are the playgrounds for crows who are interested in the rejected refuse of the world. So this also kind of reminds me of Lord Chaitanya, and I don't know, I'm not going to be able to repeat this very well, but he was like very scholarly, right? He liked to have like all these this I think it was like before he got initiated. Someone like correct me if I'm wrong because I can't really remember. And he liked to get into like scholarly arguments and Gadadhar, which is like I think the reincarnation of Radharani. He was like never wanted to like hear it. It's like I didn't like to hear it. But then I think it was after Lord Chaitanya got like I think it was after he got initiated or something happened and he didn't want to do any of that anymore. He didn't want to have those kind of arguments. Have you heard of that story before? I don't think I told it very well. But anyway,
No,
so
I've heard that Lord Chaitanya before I don't know if before initiation, I don't know. But l listen, I'm like on the same boat as you basically. I remember stuff, but I don't remember yet the exact place where I read it. And
yeah.
I kind of like I think it's because I have an understanding of what it is, but I don't have like the memory of the exact Shastra, which I hope I can develop that with the grace of the Lord. But you know, I think I've heard that before Lord Chaitanya was a grammar teacher.
Mm.
And that's why he had like a lot of scholarly academic discussions and stuff like that. I don't know deeper than that, but I will definitely study more. And then afterwards that could represent like the change that he had. He definitely didn't talk about it anymore. After it was all about the philosophy and you know the mission of Lord Chaitanya afterwards. But I wanted to also mention something regarding what you said about Lord Indra, because I found it really funny because to me it's baffling how demigods, right, are supposed to be these really powerful, which they are, and respected and everything, and they're all devotees of the Lord, and how can they feel like somebody that's doing austerities will threaten their place and then in association with devotees at the temple. They explained to us that in the higher planets or higher lokas, where the celestial planets, they only enjoy like really like huge opulences and stuff that we don't really have down here. And because they're all the time enjoying, they're not really they can't like they're not really, I don't know how to explain that because I don't want to say anything that I don't really know. So it's like when we perform austerities, it's they think that we're threatening their position because we're able to do that here and they're not able to do the same where they are because there's a lot of opulence and enjoyment all the time. So there's like no suffering. So I think that's why, but it can also explain if the demigods feel that way, feel some type of jealousy or something for us that are down here in suffering and performing austerities to be closer to Krishna and to, be in his devotional service. That's why there's also so much jealousy here between us humans, I
Mm,
guess.
yeah.
It happens everywhere, I guess.
But kind of just, yeah, thank you so much. Also just going back like to the verse, so like knowing Krishna should be the purpose of everything that we're doing. And also that's why we have like there's so many different things for us to do. Like, oh man. Okay. Sorry, just got a message. S- Sorry. Yeah, so there's so many different things for us to like do throughout the day, like for Krishna and to remember Krishna. Like with the chanting in the morning, the Mangala Arti, or doing like service for the deities. So there's like different things that we're able to do throughout the day to help us remember Krishna. So it's like prescribed. But let me see what time it is. Okay. I think we can have time for one more
Or,
verse. Should I keep
yeah.
going?
Yes, please.
Okay. Verse 16. Narayana paro yogo, Narayana param tapaha, Narayana param yanam, Narayana paragatihi. All different types of meditation or mysticism are means for realizing Narayan. All austerities are aimed at achieving Narayan. Culture of transcendental knowledge is for getting a glimpse of Narayan, and ultimately salvation is entering the kingdom of Narayan. Purport. In meditation, there are two systems of yoga, namely Astanga Yoga and Sankhya Yoga. Astanga Yoga is practiced in concentrating the mind, releasing oneself from all engagements by the regulative process of meditation, concentration, sitting postures, blocking the movements of the internal circulation of air, etc. Sankhya Yoga is meant to distinguish the truth from ephemerals, but ultimately both the systems are meant for realizing the impersonal Brahman, which is but a partial representation of Narayan, the personality of Godhead. As we have explained before, the impersonal Brahman effulgence is only a part of the personality of Godhead. Impersonal Brahman is situated on the person of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and as such, Brahman is the glorification of the personality of Godhead. This is confirmed both in the Bhagavad Gita and in the Matsya Puran. Gati refers to the ultimate destination or the last world in liberation. Oneness with the impersonal Brahmajyoti is not ultimate liberation. Superior to that is the sublime association of the personality of Godhead and one of the innumerable planets in the Vaikuntha sky. Therefore, the conclusion is that Narayan, or the personality of Godhead, is the ultimate destination for all kinds of yoga systems, as well as all kinds of liberation. So, Lavanga Mataji, she wanted me to say that this verse is But she was supposed to lead today, but she couldn't make it. So, Nadan Mooney in verse 7, he says, "Yet we are moved to wonder about the existence of someone more powerful than you, when we think of your great austerities and perfect discipline, although your good self is so powerful in the matter of creation." And then here Brahma is answering him directly and saying, "All different types of meditation or mysticism are a means for realizing Narayan. All austerities are aimed at achieving Narayan. Culture of transcendental knowledge is for getting a glimpse of Narayan, and ultimately salvation is entering the King of Narayan." Um, and then I guess in relation to this verse, I guess I will just mention like the Krishna is realized is it like there's three phases. There's the impersonal Brahman, the Paramatma sitting next to your soul in the heart, and then there's the personality of Krishna. Is that right? And so he's saying the some people that are practicing with the Astanga yoga and Sankhya yoga, they are working toward realizing the impersonal Brahman. So it's kind of like, I like this example. If someone is making like a really delicious dessert, like gulab jamun in the kitchen, like the impersonal Brahman is when you smell the gulab jamun. And then the Paramatma is like when you see the gulab jamun. And then the Krishna is like when, like the personality Krishna is like when you eat the gulab jamun.
That's wonderful. Like, I mean,
So
that's like a great analogy.
yeah, I really like that one. So there's people that are doing these different austerities and different yoga systems. Their aim is just to see the gulab jamun, but not to eat it. So he's saying they're stopping a little short. And just to go back to the purport, it says, "Oneness with the impersonal Brahma Jyoti is not ultimate liberation." Um, yeah, I guess so. Prabhupada, he talks about it all the time. And like a lot of people, they different philosophies, they think that when your life is done that you merge into this light. And like their aim of life is like self-destruction, of like their goal is to not exist anymore. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says like, you have always existed, you will always exist. What is it? All these things before you, you have always existed and you will always exist. I'm sorry. And anyway, so we'll always continue existing independently. I don't know. It's what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Um, but anyway, so just kind of they're stopping short. Does anyone else want to say something about this verse?
Well, I wanted to like I have like a question, but I'm gonna mention it here, but I'm gonna ask Guru Maharaj to see because this question just came up while I was while you were reading and I was reading with you.
Mhm.
And basically it's about the Ashtanga and the Sankhya yoga and like I know that is kind of like hatha yoga or some like I don't know. So when you meditate and you do all these postures and everything, I was reading before, I think I was reading in the Canto 1 that it's kind of like to control the senses basically, but immediately after you stop doing it, everything goes back to normal, like as before, because it's like I don't want to say fake, but kind of like um and also it compares the five senses to snakes or to serpents. And you're like, could you have them under control while you're doing these practices, but immediately if you stop doing these practices, then at the first chance they're like gonna want to self gratify the senses. It's what I was reading in the first canto. So I just wanted to know, like, is this, if you reach this Brahma Jyoti, I mean, because some people don't really practice it because they think that they're going to merge, I guess. Maybe they practice it because it gives them other benefits. And ultimately you might be thinking that you will meet the Lord, or that is a way to join the Lord, or to, it could be something that they think, but um if it's a partial, is it okay for one to practice that? Because I was reading that it was also mixed. It would make your devotional service mixed and not pure. So you can't really attain Krishna um, by mixed devotional service. So at some point you have to leave it. But I'm just confused about how that's going to work. You know what I'm saying? Because if it like um we're all contaminated and we're purifying ourselves. And I think Prabhupada says in one of the talks that he gave that people that practice Hatha Yoga, um, they can chant the names of the Lord and purify themselves. And then maybe you can just like after some degree of purity, maybe drop the other thing. But how do you know when that happens? Or I don't know. I mean, that's like I have doubts. It's basically my doubt is not like coming from it's coming from a real place of I don't really know. And it's something that I think I would need Guru Maharaj to kind of like explain it to me, or help me understand it. Um, because I understand here that it's speaking about Brahmajyoti not being ultimate liberation, and I can understand perfectly what it means that when you practice, you have some control of the senses, but it's not real because as soon as you stop, then you perceive that if something called like you would want to like gratify the senses if you're not practicing, but it doesn't happen when you're chanting the names of the Lord and you attain like spiritual progress while you do that. I'm sorry if that confused anybody.
No, that was a really nice question. So as far as like the other types of yoga systems, to kind of simplify it by my understanding, there's like stretching meditation and then silent meditation. And I'm sure that's like a really oversimplification. Again, it's just like my understanding. So as far as like the stretching yogas, which is like the hatha yoga, or maybe also one of these yogas mentioned in the purport here, they're like there's like 10 different like life airs in the body, and they are like moving that around to attain like a self-realization or a liberation. And like it is a legitimate process, or at least it was at some point. Like I've seen videos of these people that do it. They get up and they do the stretching yoga for like, they do it like I do my chanting in the morning. They get up and get ready, and then they're stretching for like 3 hours or whatever. It's very intense. But like I don't know much more about it, but I think like Prabhupada's point is that like in this age of Kali, like the what is it, the best sacrifice is chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. And also when you chant the Hare Krishna mantra, as long as you're trying, you're there, like you got it. And then when you're doing the different stretching, like it has to be done a very certain kind of way. So like anyone can chant the Hare Krishna mantra, and it's like very accessible in that way. And then also, like with silent meditation, I read in a Bhagavatam purport by Prabhupada, he has said that like kind of silent meditation, this is just what Prabhupada said. He said in the age of Kali, it doesn't work for like 90, he didn't say 99.99% of people, but like that's like it doesn't, it's not like people that are doing that, they're not really doing what they think that they're doing. Like it's not working. And Prabhupada, I wouldn't tell people that. Like I don't go up to like my Buddhist friends and I'm not like, hey, like what you're doing doesn't work. Like I'm not, I'm just saying like here, that's what Prabhupada has said. So I think like his point is that yeah, in the age of Kali, the best sacrifice is chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. And also it's very accessible to everyone, and it will get you to eat the gulab jamun. It'll get you to the, you
I
know.
really love that analogy about the
Yeah.
gulab jamun.
Yeah.
Like that like totally drove it for me.
Yeah, because sometimes Prabhupada, he says like the sun, the sunshine, and the heat. But when I heard it like the gulab jamun, I was like, that's my example.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna stick with that one.
I can taste that.
Yeah, I can taste it.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add to what you said because I read the same thing about Prabhupada in the purport saying that it's because we don't live as long as people used to live in Satya Yuga. So in Satya Yuga, people could meditate, but they lived like 1,000 years, and we live like a tenth of what they lived, which is like 100 years if we're lucky, of karma. A lot of people's lives are shortened to like 80 years old or 60 or 70. It all depends on everybody's karma, though. So you don't really have enough time to be self-realized by meditation, because for meditation, you also need the conditions to be able to meditate for long periods of time. And in Satya Yuga, there wasn't any technology like this, like, I don't know, like this postmodern craziness with all this stress and all this, like all this Kali Yuga tamasic stuff that, Satya Yuga was the golden age. So, and people lived so many years, and obviously, if they meditated so long that it was easy for them to attain self-realization by meditation. But you can't really hold meditation for longer than 20, 30 minutes in Kali Yuga. So
Mm.
you could get some benefits from it, but what he said, that you're not really doing what you think you're doing, is that you're not really probably going to attain self-realization through that. And probably what you could attain would still be partial because it's Brahma Jyoti. So maybe that's that's why also Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I think, said that the only way, and I think he said it 3 times, which is auspicious, is to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So
It's the
yeah,
only way. It's the
yeah,
only
it's the
way.
only
It's the only
way.
way.
It's the only,
Yeah.
yeah.
So just I wanted to respond to what you just said. Like when people are doing like the deep breathing exercises or the silent meditation, like there definitely are benefits, but the benefits are material. And ultimately you're just going to be reborn into another body and suffer, and just be, as good as a dead body if it's just not, you're not doing anything that's in relation to Krishna. So there will be benefits, but they're just temporary material benefits. And then also, like in relation to something you said, in Satya Yuga, people live for 100,000 years. And if
Thanks for
you,
correcting
yeah,
me.
no, I don't, not just like correcting you. I just wanted to like say, in Satya Yuga, people live for 100,000 years, and if you were to do meditation in Satya Yuga for 70,000 years, the benefits that we get from chanting Hare Krishna and Kali Yuga we get to go to the, or are able to, go to Goloka Vrindavan and Satya Yuga by meditation for 70,000 years. 70,000 years. I can't even like chant for 2 hours. I really can't. And they're meditating for 70,000 years. And I get to do something that they don't like, they didn't get to do. And so that's like just totally mind blowing, like really crazy. But, yeah, so that's why yeah, some people I guess choose to be born in Kali Yuga, like so that they can chant Hare Krishna. So I guess like the glories of chanting Hare Krishna. I just wanted to say that about the 70,000 years, and yeah, so
Wow, that is like, I really, really thank you for saying that, because that kind of put it into perspective, because 70,000 years, I mean, 100,000 years to live is a really long time, a
yeah,
lot longer than just 1,000, which is what I thought.
yeah,
But 70,000 years of meditation is a lot of time of meditation. And
yeah,
just to put it into perspective, you made me think of like when children have ADHD,
hmm,
and now like it's a lot harder as a teacher, because I'm a teacher, to teach children, because there's so much distractions with the social media and the tablets and the devices and the games and I don't know what. And then it's kind of like the similarity for me is Kali Yuga is like we're children that are all the times with these devices and with these things that distract us from the path of attaining Krishna, right?
hmm,
And even in the time that we had so many years and we could meditate for 70,000, it still wasn't like chanting Hare Krishna
hmm,
Mahamantra. So right now it's like a shortcut. It would be like you have this perfect way of reaching Krishna immediately, and like as you know, all you have to, it's really easy, so it's attainable for everybody. Because even if people now, I also am a yoga teacher, so like I try and do that, but I understand that immediately I stop doing it, I stop getting the benefits, and I can see that. And it's not the same with the chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. I perceive the effects, and they stay with me, and I see how my consciousness changes a little bit,
hmm,
because I'm like very new to this also. And I'm very grateful for the Lord's mercy for me being in this path now. Um, but thank you for that. That really put things into perspective.
yeah. So yeah, thank you. So we're about 10 minutes past the hour. I guess we can finish here. So on the next time, we will start on 17. I write it down. So we'll start on 2, 5, 17. Start next time. Okay. So anyway, Hare Krishna, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you so much
Okay.
for your service leading today.
Yeah,
You
thank
did
you.
great.
Yeah, you helped. You like co-led. So anyway, Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna, Bhakta Rich.